Alright, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to learn the real basics on how to make a game in Scratch where it's just going to be a really simple movement game where we go and grab stuff, kind of similar to Pac-Man. So here's what we start with Scratch. There's different kind of views here. The first view we have is of the actual game, the windowing view. And they always start you out with like the cat here. And the cat is a sprite. And sprites are objects in the game that can be programmed. And so those are typically characters or items or blocks or anything that you want to basically move or interact with is a sprite. Then we have the stage, and the stage right now is white. You can program the stage to do stuff, or you can have it just be there and stationary. I'm going to choose a backdrop from the library. You can also pick one from the camera or pick one from a file. I'm going to pick one from the camera here. Let's go with something like a brick wall. Okay. So when I double click that, oh, it must not have taken. Oh, there it did. I now have a brick wall. And I'm going to move my sprite around here. I can also make my sprite larger or smaller. I'm going to make him just a little smaller and shrink him. And now I've got my cat here. He's a little bit smaller. And I'm going to position him right here. And you'll notice right down here, too, there's some coordinates. And this coordinates tells me where my sprite is. Now, I can change things about my sprite by clicking this little I button. I'm going to change his name to Cat. And it also tells me where he is on the XY coordinates. He is at negative 134y, so he's really low. And he's only at minus 11 x, so he's kind of middle-ish. And his direction is pointed 90 degrees. I can also change his rotation style. Now, rotation style will change in a little bit. So I'll explain how that works in a moment because it's going to be kind of important. The first thing I want to do is make sure that the cat can go right and left. So I'm going to go to scripts here, and I'm going to write a script for the cat. And here are the different kind of menus for the scripts, and they're broken down to motion, which controls the movement of something, the looks, which controls what he says and his appearance, sounds, which can control sounds, which you can record or do, pen, which will let the cat kind of make artwork, data, which controls points and the score and how many lives he has, events, which is what starts things or ends things. Control is sort of the verb. What do we want it to do, and how do we want it to do it? A lot of if and then kind of conditions. Sensing for what the cat is touching. Operators for when we want to do math. And then there's some additional blocks that you can make, but we're not really going to play around with those yet. What we're going to start with is how to play the game. I'm going to do a when the flag is clicked. Now the flag up here is basically to start the game. So when the flag is clicked, I want the cat to be able to do something. I want him to move right or left. So to do that, I'm going to go to Control, and I'm going to put a forever block. So forever means he's always going to do this. As soon as it starts, he is always going to do this. If and then. So a forever if is probably the most powerful kind of thing you can put in there. Forever and if. So I'm going to put in forever if and sensing. Well, what do I want it to do? Forever if the key is pressed. But instead of space bar, I'm going to make it right arrow. So forever if the right arrow is pressed, I want the cat to go right. Well, now I need to go to motion and find something in motion. And so I'm going to point him in a direction and make him move 10 steps. And what direction do I want him to go? I want him to go right, which is 90 degrees. So now if I hit go and hit my right arrow, he goes right. But now if I try to do left, it's not going to work. So to do that, I need to program him to go left as well. Now I could recreate this whole, when the flag is clicked, or I could just speed this along. I right click and duplicate. And now I've got a whole new script, and I'm just going to change my numbers. So instead of right arrow, I'm going to change left arrow. And instead of 90 degrees, I'm going to do negative 90 for left. And now when I hit the flag, he goes left, he goes right. But you'll notice he's got a problem. He flips upside down. And that's because I have never changed this rotation style. So I'm going to change that rotation style, and now he's exactly what I want, right? So now I want this cat to be able to grab stuff. I want to score points. So to score points, I need to make a new thing for him to grab. I'm going to go back to my sprites here and make a new sprite. Now I could take a picture. The sprite could be me from a camera. I could take a picture from the internet or something. I could paint a new picture. Or I could choose a sprite from the library. I'm going to choose a banana. Okay? So now I've got some bananas here, but those are giant bananas. I'm going to make them smaller with my shrink button here. And that seems to be a reasonable size for bananas. And I'm going to move the bananas up here to the top. Okay? And what I want the bananas to do is I want them to appear somewhere randomly and then drop. Okay? So when the flag is clicked, what do I want it to do? Well, when the flag is clicked, I want it to forever do something. So I'm going to go to Control. I want this to happen again and again and again. I want it to forever go somewhere on the X and Y. So I'm going to have him forever glide to, and glide basically means he's going to fly to somewhere. Go somewhere on X and somewhere on Y. Now Y is how high? I want the thing to always be here, right? But I want it to randomly be somewhere on the X, on the right and left. So for that, I've got to go to my operators and do some math. I'm going to pick a random thing. So randomly. Well, randomly, I want to use something all the way from this side of the screen to all the way to that side of the screen. Well, this side of the screen is negative 230, and this side of the screen is positive 230. So it makes sense for me to pick a number randomly between negative 230 and positive 230, and somewhere here on the Y. Let's see that happen. So now, as you can see, the bananas are randomly appearing in all these different places. They're always moving. But now I want it so that every so often they drop, right? So I'm going to hit stop. And I want it to repeat that little glide thing maybe 10 times, right? And then, and in fact, you know what? Let's not make it 10 times because that'd be too predictable. Let's pick a random 1 through 5. And he's going to repeat that 1 through 5 times over and over and over again. But once he's done that, I want him to drop. I want him to drop somewhere down here where the cat is. And the cat here, remember, is at negative 180, right? That's going to be important. So I'm going to make another glide right here. He's going to glide for 1 second to negative 125. So he's going to drop to the bottom of the screen. But that XC is a really specific X. I don't want it to be specific. I want it to be wherever he happens to be at the time. And to do that, I use this button here that's hidden here called X position. And that means wherever he happens to be, he's going to drop down to the bottom. Let's try that out. So now it starts, and as you can see, the bananas are going to randomly move around and randomly drop at the cat. And I have control of the cat, and he wants to chase those bananas, right? He's got no idea where they're going to go or when they're going to drop. Okay, but they're going to drop. It's kind of a fun motion here. But now I want it so that when the cat hits the bananas, he scores a point. Let's try that. I'm going to go to Events. When this is clicked, forever if, and touching something. Touching, not the mouse pointer. I want him forever if he's touching the cat. If he's touching the cat, let's have a sound. Let's have it make a sound. And I'm going to choose a sound from the library and maybe an animal sound. Let's make a meow sound. Let's hear that. Okay. And now let's go ahead and hear that sound. There we go. And it's going to make a sound of meow. So play the sound meow. Okay, let's try that. Okay. That sounds jumpy. Maybe instead of changing play sound, let's play sound meow until done. Let's try that. That's one of the cool things about Scratch is you can go over and over again. There we go. That makes more sense. It's less scary sounding. So now I can play this game and score points. Let's do points. So I'm going to make a variable. Variables basically mean a number that can change. And we want our points to change. So I'm going to call this variable points and make it for all the sprites, everything in our game. And when we start the game, our points are going to be 0. And every time we are done playing that sound, that cat noise, it's going to change the points by 1. So now we can play this game and grab bananas and score points. And that's how you make a really, really simple game. Okay, try to make something similar or make it on your own. Have fun.